Hello everyone, welcome to another YouTube video. It is me, Nightmare the Wolf! And today I will be playing amorous. Again. Puppet side story. Let's get started. So last time we left off, we went, I forgot what we did. I forgot what we did! We did, the shooting range. Today is like our second date. I looked on the wiki and, looks like we are going to go on a picnic. Come on, wardrobe, cooperate! So, let's go with something seasonal. Summer wear, shorts, and a t-shirt. That's better. So, now we have that put on. Let's go on our date. Whoa, when did Zenith text? Spooky. Hey, Puppet FNAF. Got free time this afternoon? If you wanted to have that picnic? Can't say I ever been excited for a picnic before, but let me know if you want to come out to the park today, yeah? We are gonna go to the park. Duh, of course. I love to hang out. Cool. You want to carpool like we planned it? You get to ride in the Dragon Wagon. Awesome! Let me text you my address. It was more than 10 minutes before. Oh god. No. I forgot Kobe was here. Wait, Kobe is here and his shorts are right there on his bed. Please be wearing pants, please be wearing pants. Kobe, right? Oh, hell no. I didn't end up giving you my number, did I? I'm pretty sure I would have remembered, or was that the Wednesday night guy, Holy Tommy? He's here to pick me up, bird brain. And how many times do I have to ask you to put pants on before you enter the front door? I checked if there was a hot guy before I answered. And that's why they keep refusing to send pizza drivers here that ain't that 25-year-old German lady with the nose piercings. She always scowls at me. Wait, does that mean you two are duckobes? I'm sorry, Zenith. My brother thinks that just because a guy's calling that it's for him. Ugh. No, that's fine. Nice to see you again, Kobe. Again? Okay, this guy just ends up with more and more questions. I'm gonna have to keep a list. Psst. He's a hunkosaurus. If you mess up, you don't mind if I'm sure Zenith isn't deaf. Now come on. Say goodbye, Kobe. Me and Zenith are going out for a while. Goodbye, Kobe. How fun you two. I just realized if we're brothers. What the heck? He scared off before Zenith could work himself up to an answer. He's a little odd, huh? Only when you get a whiff of his testosterone. When you see, he's tragically born with all of his replaced by rainbow glitter. Well, trust me, I'm used to it. You ready to go? Sure. Ready to roll. Zenith's Dragon Wagon was a large four-door monster with a large covered truck bed. It suits him down to the ground, all racks and chrome finished. I suppose it wasn't exactly surprising that he was the kind of guy who'd drive a car like this. What our first outing being muscular shirt at the gun range, I at least got the impression from the drawers that the truck bed that he actually used for hardware and supplies better than repair than not, I guess. Speaking of prepared, I couldn't help but wondering if he'd gone overboard with a little prep from the bags in the backseat. Out of the sun, it looked like he got in snacks and drinks for at least half a dozen of us. Zeno wasn't exactly a small guy, but I couldn't imagine him making his way through too much of this. We shared our days and been on his radio, played oldies rock. There wasn't really much to say on either of our accounts. I'd mostly been waiting to spend more time with Zenith, and he had been on the graveyard shift the previous night at the club, which he said mostly involved getting the drunk, encouraged rubbers gabs, and rolling everyone out at closing time. The picnic spot was up on the hillside, a pretty common spot for nature's watchers and couples to meet up. We pulled up in the lot, and Zenith hopped out, unlocking one of the slides organizers from the rising bag of the truck, and he indeed had a couple of blankets all set up, which was good. I've been so busy trying to get out of the house before Kobe could jump Zenith's bones that I've forgotten all about to bring any of that stuff. There was a slight air of tension about the whole thing as he smiled and tossed me one of the blankets. There was plenty of grassy spots away from slightly stirring looking picnic tables, and we decided to have a nice place that looked down the step hill towards the bay, and it was a little further from the parking lot. Zenith had said we could spend some time talking about him. I had to admit to having far from more questions than answers. But I wouldn't be rushing into things too much, forcing him to open up more, would I? Watching him sorting through the bags at the edge of our little square of blankets land, it was a little hard to read what he was thinking. Regardless, it was a beautiful day, not too humid, with the breeze rolling from the bay. The sun was shining out high in the sky without much threat of being overcast by a few stray clouds. I picked up the last bag, some sodas it seemed, and padded back over the grass from his truck, where Zenith was still looking through things with his back turned. A playful idea in my mind was Zenith on his knees and his back turned. It will be the perfect time for some revenge for jumping me at the gun range and break the ice a little. Slip in beside him, there's no need to jump him. It was a perfect opportunity to show him that I was there to spend time with him. I set down the picnic gear and slipped in beside Zenith, nudging his shoulder softly with a smile. You know, you totally brung too much stuff, right? Are you going to be here all day? His concentration broken from whatever was on his mind. He put an arm around my shoulders and squeezed us together with a playful chuckle before returning the nudge. Hey, sounds good to me. But if you rather put some of it back in the car, I can have it later by myself. He gave me a cocky grin, and I felt the heat rising to my face. I played along, getting up and starting to walk off. Oh well, sure. I'll just take this stuff back then. Don't wanna... Before I could say another word, I was on my back in a blur of motion. He might have took my legs out with his tail or used his arm. He moved too fast for me to really tell as I landed back first into the blankets and sent one of the bags spilling out. His shadow cast over me. He sat on my thighs, keeping me pinned. You know, it's not too smart to tease a dragon, especially not one who's bigger than you. I squirmed to free myself, but he wasn't having it. Submit flirt thing. I was faced to... Hold on. I was face to face and spread it out under him. I bit my lip so gently, tilting my head to the side and putting my best puppy dog eyes. And if I know exactly what I'm doing, maybe this is all my plan to get you wild up. Alright. Then I guess I fell into your trap. You're too cute for your own good, you know? With a grunt, Zenith rolled off of me with a playful... He stretched his rings out and cracked his neck. The spine of his rings was impressive, even if it was originally kept them tucked mostly away. He tucked and pointed to the bag with the sodas. Hey now look, your fooling around means we're gonna get soaked when we try to open these. I straightened up the bag. He had the cause to spill and recovered some upside down cupcakes that has left most of the icing on the plastic container. Not the only casualty of war here. Guess that's my fault too, huh? Next time we do better plan more in advance so I can get some stuff too, Zenith. This sprint must have cost you. Hey, you brought yourself. That's the most important part, right? Anyway, there's some more cake things in there somewhere, I think. We started to pick through the savory stuff as we got cozy on the blanket, side by side, sitting opposite each other and splitting snacks back and forth as we came to stuff. We liked we liked. Zenith pouted playfully at the cakes again. I couldn't help but laugh. You know, you're probably the biggest, toughest guy I've ever known. You can be a big kid sometimes, you know? Wouldn't be the first to say. Guess everyone is a bit of a kind kid at heart, right? Or maybe it's just hanging with fun people that gets me riled up. He sighed and tossed a stick of jerky on my way for approval. As he chewed on a big piece, thoughtfully for a moment. Hey, listen. Since I promised to chat about my stuff, I wanted to ask first. Is this kind of rough housing stuff okay with you? In case you haven't noticed, I don't exactly do the whole bottom bunk thing. Just figured I ask. I gotta admit, when you start with those big eyes and the playfulness, it drives me a little nuts. But I don't want you playing that up just for me. As long as you're happy, I'm happy, Zenith. It might sound a little weird, but I mostly enjoy doing the things that the person I'm with enjoys doing. If you prefer to take courage a little, that'd be fine by me. Knowing your preference for that kind of thing helps me know what to expect. So I appreciate you saying so. You know, considering Rose and how you act generously, I didn't really think you had much of a problem taking control and playing the more dominant role. Hey, I'm not saying I don't like to be bossed around a little. I just ain't really one of those being much on the receiving ends of certain stuff. If you get me. I flushed a little and smirked, putting down the stick of jerky I was still holding, which suddenly I felt a little too lewd to be gnawing on. I was glad to be more receptive attitude wouldn't put Zenith off, though. I was enjoying getting more time with him like this. Well, putting it that way certainly helps me. Well, like I said, no problem here. I'm just saying I might not let you know what I want from time to time, but at least I'm pretty sure you won't be disappointed by the Wear Crush request now that you say that. I like how dominant you can be. I didn't exactly expect much less from a guy who comes to date in a muscle shirt. Talking so confidently like this certainly nice. I considered I already found myself pinned under him this afternoon. It was exactly a premature question. Part of me wondered if it rushing thing a little for him to ask my sexual preference, but I supposed we had to meet an obnoxiously sexual club. I couldn't blame him for waiting to know after I felt hookup at the first night. I guess you were pretty obvious about the intentions and preferences you get from the get-go. If I didn't think I could work with what you would have said. Just wanted it to get out there, you know? Since we're clearing the air and all. He smiled as he cheerfully opened a soda that never threatened to fizz, like a foamy bathtub. He threw me an eyebrow and said, "Cece, this is what happens when you drop the bags." And I rolled my eyes and I stuck out my tongue on eating a few sausage pastries. I know. Yeesh. I didn't know dummy boyfriends would be such like having an extra model around. He chuckled at that. Well, listen, I'm used to pretty high maintenance boyfriends. You're the first guy I dated for a while who wasn't a bit of a spoiled princess. I'm doing my best to adjust to a socially refined relationship here. Refined? Okay, you've had some shitty boyfriends. If you think that I'm refined. Look, I'm pretty new to this whole serious dating thing. I mean, fuck. A picnic? I haven't been to a picnic since I was a kid, let alone hosted one. Hey, you did great. I don't think we're gonna get through even half of this food, but it's kinda sweet that you tried so hard. You're doing fine. And dating, huh? I guess we both said it about, oh, let me check how many times you made my heart skip a little today. 3 times? Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, right? I like you, you like me. We're even sitting under a damn tree like in the kids' songs. Sounds like a date to me. I tried very hard to think of something exactly written to say in response to that. I liked him, he liked me. KISSING. I realized I'd just been staring for him with a cocktail sausage hanging halfway down my throat to watch the show. I choked a little and flushed from the neck to scalp. What? What? Are you okay, Puppet FNaf? Yeah, I just didn't expect you to say that. What? That I like you? I'll admit it, you're growing on me. Remember when I said you're the first person in a long time I've been able to just talk to? I wasn't lying about that. He took a swig of his drinks smugly as I searched for a response. I guess out of here with just a breeze and a little feast for company. Felt a little more comfortable being open. I suppose that was a fair enough. The gun range wasn't exactly a place for a heart-to-heart. I didn't take you for the sappy type, Zenith. Sappy? I ain't fucking sappy. I'm just in touch with my feelings, alright? Big deal. I laughed, and remembered Jason's word, how Zenith was really a big sap under all those muscles. He put a big show, but I could tell that he let things sink deep too. We nibbled through a few packaged sandwiches and sat in a quiet companionship for a while till I figured it was time enough to learn more about Zenith. So Zenith, if this isn't going to be a shitty question, you said you had not much chance to talk with someone. You seem probably back at the club, and if Kobe is much to go on. See, that shit's different. That was mostly Rose's idea. Rose's idea? You mean the whole flirting thing? Yeah, that was a big mess. Hell, it took to you sticking up for yourself for me to actually put my foot down on all that. He hasn't replied to my text since he stormed off like I said. Wouldn't be the first guy to act like that. I just have a shitty habit of getting into those kinds of positions. Zenith's dour expression made it obvious that the topic was difficult for him. At the same time, I asked him some of this stuff. He'd invited me here to have it all out in the opening. Things with Rose and being a cop were both triggered. They seemed to put him in a shitty mood, and I'd rather look under that band-aid once than keep accidentally poking it. I have to ask, is Rose going to be a problem going forward? It really been a good time to bring him up, but I kinda want to know what happened with him. For one, was he your boyfriend? Me and Rose? No. Nothing that official anyway. We're more than friends at least, but mostly just for sexual stuff. It's kind of more mnemonic to a few shitty decisions in the past. I'll go into it if you want to sit through it. I don't want you to feel like Rose is the norm or I do that shit to you. I'd appreciate us talking about it at least. Through good to know Rose isn't going to come after me for stealing his man. It's a long story, Puppet FNAF. I haven't really talked to anyone about this in years. I trust you with it though. Zeniths reached for a sandwich, half exhaled deeply, and leaned back on one arm. He took the big, flirting rich piece out in the middle in a huge bite. He contemplated for a moment, seeming to decide where exactly to start and what to order to tell his story. Okay, back before I worked at amorous, a couple years before I finished training to be a cop. I was real green, you know? Felt like I could take on the world. So, you liked it? You're kidding me? I loved it. I felt I was making a difference. My partner, you know, the guy that they team you up with when you're working the beat, he really helped me to get through a lot of rough times. I guess that makes sense. I know that much from cop movies. Was he big and really like you, or are you talking about a young skinnier Zenith here? I smiled, imagined Zenith in one of those buddy cop movies from the 80s. Who was I kidding? Zenith looked like he could pinch the younger kids from high school onward. He was definitely the bigger cop. Yeah, he was smaller than me, but I respected him. He was a lifer. Committed to it, you know? I looked up to him for that. He taught me everything I know. You see, Dad walked out when I was just a whelp. Didn't really have much of a father figure in my life. I guess he sort of fit that role. He told me when I was doing stuff wrong. He told me when I did a good too, which was a first. Guessing you two got along really well then. More than well. Reg and I, well, we were the best of friends. It's not like it's the Stone Age or whatever, but he was the first guy in the force I told about being into guys, among other things. I could see the blood leave Zenith's cheeks as he swallowed another bite of his sandwich. He looked like he'd just eaten ash. I could see the pain in Zenith's eyes. He looked away as he spoke, trying not to let the sight of him reach out carefully and I touched the back of his knuckle with my fingers. He felt cold. He didn't return the touch, but the corners of his mouth twitched a little into a sad smile. We got a call about a robbery. Dispatch said the guy was holding up a convenience store with a knife. You were the closest patrol, so we responded. We got advised to wait for backup, but I had a fire in me when I was younger. Rich said we should wait, but I didn't listen to him. We could handle it on our own. At least that's what I thought. As a hot-headed rookie, I barged into the store with a gun in hand. Rich had no choice but to follow behind me. It was a scrawny kid holding up the clerk with a kitchen knife. I did all that stuff you were supposed to do, trying to shoot him down. Freeze, drop your weapon, we'll fire. All that shit. I figured he'd crapped his pants seeing two cops with their guns drawn like that. He pulled a gun he had in his coat pocket and shot at me. Jesus. I thought that was it for me, but everything happened so fast. Rich had pushed me out of the way. Maybe he cloaked the gun in his pocket. While as I was watching him put the knife down, he took the bullet from me. The store clerk grabbed a bat from under the counter and knocked the kid out. But it was too late. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I imagine what happened wasn't exactly rare, but the having to go through what the partner and mentor, I had no idea. I swallowed hard. I could see zeniths fighting back the anger. I was an idiot. I got him killed. If I wasn't such a headstrong effing kid. Okay. I didn't say a word. I moved in closer so I could wrap my arms around his midsection and lean in close. He silently tossed the curd of his sandwich across the field and wrapped my arms around me, squeezing most of his frustration out. Thanks, Puppet FNAF. I beat myself about it for so many years. You think I get bored of beating myself up over just a stubborn, I guess? I'm getting that's why you quit the force? Yeah, that's BY. I was a mess. That's why Jason brought me flowers as a thank you after so long spooked me. Too many memories. Many memories. Why flowers from his funeral? White lilies. Every week I go to the same place on 3rd Avenue. Little flower shop. Buy the same bouquet of lilies to take to his grave. But after a while I just wanted to forget, you know? Well, now I didn't want to forget. I wanted to get unstuck and let things start moving again. So that's how you ended up at Armor's at a bouncer, right? You got it. And that was also when I met Rose. He was nicer than we first met. Being in the state, I was waiting to forget about my past. I kind of lost myself in that guy. Yeah, he seemed, well, he didn't seem so nice when we met. He was getting bored of me, I think. We never were a couple or anything, but he had to get me wrangled the cute guys for him. And vice versa when I was coming out of my shell more. I'd be lying if I said there wasn't more than a few threesomes, his charms, my luck, it was hard to say no to a couple of guys like us, but I realized it was going to be more of an escape. I was becoming too dependent on him to actually strike up a conversation and have fun. It did almost seem like he was holding your leash back at the club. No